Hola, amigos. Welcome to the channel. Today, we are going to touch on a very touchy subject, fasting. This is step 8 of the blueprint, and we're going to talk about how the body fights back and how we can stop it when you are losing weight. So, stick with me. It's going to be, one of those videos where you're going to be like, "Oh man, I don't know if I can do that." But you can. And the blueprint, when you have made it this far, 14, 15, 16 weeks in, this kind of stuff is just add-ons that we can create situations where our body won't fight back as much. So stick with me on this one. Remember to subscribe. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Jim. I'm putting out all of this stuff for free, so it changed my life. I've been fat my entire life, ever since I was 8 years old. And I have dieted and dieted and dieted and dieted and dieted. And then last year, it's like all the stars aligned, everything came together. This all fell out of my head. And I started following this plan and tweaking it as I went. And I went, this is the easiest thing I've ever done. And then I stopped doing it because I'm an idiot. I lost almost 55 pounds last year. And then I went off of it, Thanksgiving and Christmas and all of these things. And I had built a good start to the habits. And then I slowly let myself slide back into the standard American diet. It took a couple of months, but then, with a knee injury and being laid up for 10 weeks and pretty much not being able to exercise or do anything else, and, depression comes in, and I started imbibing in alcohol too much and eating things. When I'm drinking, there's plenty of times where I just eat for no particular reason. I'm just having something along with my beer, popcorn, chips, candies, snacks, Little Debbie's, whatever was in the house was fair game. But sorry for that little aside there. Sometimes I get a little carried away and off track. Maybe a senior moment. This old fart's getting up there. Hopefully I'm not getting into dementia yet. But anyways, let's get back to step 8, because that's what you came here for. That's what we need to talk about today. And step 8 is all about how the body fights back and how we can stop it. So I'm going to put a little thing up here. This is my basal metabolic rate from my scale app on my phone. And I'll try and blow it up so that you can see it. But my basal metabolic rate, according to this app, was 2,272 calories a day. That meant my body burned that much every day, lying in bed doing nothing but beating my heart, breathing, all the cellular functions that go on, all of that stuff. And basically what I kind of tried to do without counting calories was try to achieve a $300 to $500 calorie deficit, which from 2272 minus 500 would be 1772. You try and cut calories much more than 300 to 500, and you really are like starving yourself. Even if you're upping your fiber and making sure you stay full and stuff like that, you don't need to go on a 1,000 calorie a day diet. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to do. It's too hard to maintain. I've done it. You're hungry all the time. You're fighting with yourself all the time. It just doesn't make sense. What makes sense is the blueprint. Change the way you think about meal timing and how much you eat at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. King, Prince, Pauper. And change how you think about carbohydrates. Instead of thinking about carbohydrates, think about fiber. What are you getting in your diet that's got fiber in it? Because fiber keeps us full longer and fights those cravings off. So here's a little screenshot of now, as of today. My little app is telling me that my BMR is now 1991, which, as you can see, 2272 to 1991. Now, a lot of people on diets complain that their metabolism slows down. Well, that's not really the case. What's really happening is, as you take weight off, your body doesn't burn as many calories due to the basal metabolic rate to keep you alive. It's just there's not as much bulk there for it to be moving around or doing whatever it needs to do with. So your basal metabolic rate comes down. And you know what? You burn more calories just staying alive than you can burn lifting weights, running on a treadmill, any of those things. I mean, you might burn 500-600 calories, but your body's going to burn 2,000 just keeping you alive. So which one burns more? All of the exercise or just your body keeping you alive? Just your body keeping you alive. So now when we're talking about calorie deficit, we're also talking about starting to walk and starting to move more. Now, when we move more, of course, we burn some more calories, and that helps the amount of calories that we're burning throughout the course of the day. That's why the goal is to get to 30 minutes a day, 7 days a week of just some simple walking. Now, it doesn't burn thousands of calories. It's just adding to what your body's already burning. It's just getting out there and getting moving so that you're not sitting all day long. And a half hour, 7 days a week is not much. It's not much at all. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Don't worry about weightlifting. Don't worry about, high intensity interval training. That stuff can come later. Just get yourself moving and get yourself accustomed to moving so that taking that 30-minute walk becomes habit. Just like we're trying to make all of the little food choices become habit. When it's habit, it's subconscious and you don't think about it anymore. It's just part of your day and you just do it. So back to the calories. When your BMR starts coming down, that's where people usually say, oh, my metabolism slowed down. And it's not your metabolism slowed down. It is the fact that there's less of you to keep alive. So your body naturally burns fewer calories throughout the course of the day, just keeping you alive. So you go from 2272 down to 1991. And now my 500 calorie deficit that I was aiming for, 1991 minus 1772, is only 219 calories. So now if I kept eating the same way and kept losing weight over time, my basal metabolic rate is actually going to eclipse that original 500 calorie deficit I was shooting for. So now I'm actually eating more calories and weight starts to come back on. That's why the blueprint is so important, because when you're tracking all the time and you see, oh, I was losing 3 pounds a week and this week I only lost 1.5, what happened? Well, maybe we can take a few less cashews for dinner. Maybe we can take, reduce the size of our smoothie just a little bit, just, a few teaspoons difference in size. Maybe we can take away a piece of toast at breakfast. Maybe we can take away an egg at breakfast. Maybe we can do some of these things so that our calories aren't a straight line. What we're doing is we're tracking and we're removing. So as our basal metabolic rate drops, also our calorie intake drops, and it's much easier to maintain that 300 to 500 calorie deficit that we're looking for. So that's why the tracking sheets are so important, even after you're beyond 12 weeks, because you get in the habit of eating these foods and eating at these different times of day and eating the way that you're supposed to on King Prince Pauper. But then you will still stop losing weight if you don't pay attention to what you're doing. And instead of having 15 cashews, you reduce that to 12. And then in a week or two, you reduce it to 10. And then in a week or two, so you continually are taking little amounts out. But because you're accustomed to what you're doing, when you have your dinner, for example, and it's light and you take a little bit out of it, you don't even notice. But the fact is you've reduced your calories again. So that's the main way that we can stop the body from fighting back, is understanding that as time moves on, as the weight comes off, we're going to have to be reducing slightly our daily intake to make that slanted calories along with the slant in our BMR. And we don't have to count calories, we just have to be aware of what it is. So, that's exactly why we track everything and reduce the quantity of food as we go. So, the second part of this video is about the magic of fasting. We're already intermittent fasting. I'm sure you've heard all these people talk about intermittent fasting, all this stuff. I followed it for years, tried to do it, did it, but I was doing it completely wrong because I didn't know about chronobiology. I was eating my dinner before bed and packing in the calories and then going to sleep and then getting up in the morning and skipping breakfast and waiting till I had reached 14, 15, 16 hours of fasting. But I was doing it wrong. You want to front load the intermittent fasting. That's why we eat dinner early and go to bed 3, 4, 5, 6 hours after we've eaten. That's the front load to the intermittent fasting. And that's what causes intermittent fasting to work, because you want your body to not be digesting, not be working on anything when you go to sleep, because then your body has time to repair and do all the things that it wants to do that it doesn't have time to do if you're still digesting and things are still moving through your intestines and it's trying to take things and put them where it needs to go and all of these other things. So what you need to understand is that we're already doing fasting. We are already intermittent fasting by cutting off dinner at 6, 7 o'clock at night, not going to bed until 11. You may be cutting off dinner at 4:30 in the afternoon because you go to bed early because you get up early. The whole point is that 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever you can stretch it out to, those hours before bedtime are front loading your fast and making sure that when you sleep, your body can engage in the processes that it needs to engage in. And that's how you intermittent fast the right way, instead of skipping breakfast in the morning. Because of chronobiology, that's when our calories affect us the least, is in the morning. That's why breakfast is the biggest meal. And it's also why breakfast is a little bit more flexible in terms of what you're taking in it for calories. I mean, obviously you still want fiber in your breakfast, so you're not dying by the time you eat lunch. So because I didn't know about chronobiology, I was doing it all wrong. And most people do it all wrong. People that I've talked to that do intermittent fasting, they're skipping breakfast and extending their fasting window that way, instead of doing it on the other side and extending the fasting window by making more time between dinner and bed. That's the way to do it. So I had my niece's wedding over the weekend, and I talked about that in a completely different video, so I'm not going to go into all that. But on Sunday, I woke up and I went, you know what? This is a great day to put in a 36-hour fast, because I know about what time I ate on Saturday night. I ate some things that I really probably, I won't say shouldn't have. I mean, it was a celebration, and things like that are okay. But I felt like perfect time to throw this in, because I stepped outside the bounds of what I've been doing in the blueprint. Perfectly okay that I stepped outside the bounds, but hey, I am 14 weeks in, perfect time to do it. I'm getting more and more plant-based. In fact, almost everything I eat is plants now, but I don't go, oh, I can't have that because it's not it's meat or it's cheese or it's whatever. It's just, I know what I'm trying to accomplish. So being more whole food, plant based, and getting rid of as much of the animal stuff as I can is perfect. But I don't go, oh my God, I can't touch that because it's animal protein. That's not what we're doing. We're just creating the habit of being, most of the food that we put in our body is from nature. It's plant based. So all I did was just, hey, I was tired. It was a long day on Saturday. I got up in the morning and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this 36-hour fast. And I did a couple of things in the morning, walked the dog, went to Costco, came home from Costco, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to help myself out. I'm going to take a nap. So I took a nap for like 3 hours. And I got up from my nap and I was like, no big deal. I don't need to eat. So then I planned out to go up to bed a little early, which is fine because once I'm in bed, I'm not getting up to go raid the refrigerator. I'm not getting up to go and do whatever. So I laid there on my phone and watched some videos and scrolled through Instagram and things like that. And then I was like, okay, well, let's just try and get to sleep. I know we had a nap this afternoon, but I was pretty tuckered out because we had such a long day on Saturday. Now, here's what I didn't do. Normally, when I have thrown in a 36-hour fast, I take something to help me sleep. And whatever that is, whether it's melatonin, Benadryl, ZzzQuil, whatever it is that maybe you've tried in the past that helps you fall asleep. Well, I didn't take a melatonin. I was like, you know what? I took my supplements. I don't want to take a bunch more supplements. I don't want to sleep too long tonight, because if I take a melatonin, maybe I'll sleep too long. I got to get up early in the morning, go to the grocery store. I made a mistake because then I was laying there thinking about food. But you know what? It helped me kind of figure out some things that I was kind of hemming and hawing about, in terms of next time I make rice, what do I want to do? Because I want to kind of take the potatoes out for a little while, put something else in. And I came up, oh, hey, frozen corn. Perfect. Add it into the rice and the beans the next time I make them, and it'll just give me something different. And I may go get some. I also thought of roasted red peppers. I may go get some red peppers and roast them and chop those up and put them in there. Those are fantastic for you. So it kind of helped me, but at the same time, I was kind of going, oh man, I haven't eaten all day. And, now I'm laying here thinking about food, trying to fall asleep. So I would recommend take something to help you get to sleep, especially if you're new to full on like 36-hour fasting. And I don't do it that often. I'm not saying it's part of the blueprint. I'm not saying it's something that you have to do. It's just something that's good for your body. And when you do a 36-hour fast, it's incredibly helpful. I mean, some of the benefits are it helps your body become more metabolically flexible. What does that mean? It means at a certain point during the fast, your glucose stores are gone. Even though whatever you're doing throughout your day, just by you using your basal metabolic rate, your glucose stores will be used up and your body switches to fat burning. As you do that, your body it becomes easier for your body to go, okay, glucose, oh, now we need some fat. Oh, glucose, now we need some fat. So it helps your body become metabolically flexible if you throw these in. And I don't mean fast every Sunday. I mean, throw it in once in a while. I'd like to get to the point where I'm maybe doing it once a week, but I'm not there yet. And that's fine. Improved insulin sensitivity, which anyone who's got a weight problem, obesity problem, that you're probably dealing with, an insulin sensitivity issue. Once you reach about 24 hours or so, maybe even a little bit longer than that, your body ups the human growth hormone production. So you increase HGH, or human growth hormone, which can help Your stem cells produce new cells and help with these other things. And it also triggers autophagy. And if you've never heard of that, you're going, what the hell's autophagy? That's what I did the first time I heard about it. Autophagy is a fancy way of talking about a process wherein your cells start to clean up the trash. They start to take all the little byproducts and things from within the cell itself and start taking out the trash. And it also describes the process where damaged or dysfunctional cells, which can turn into cancer cells, are cleared away. And the body takes them and gets rid of them. So triggering autophagy is fantastic for the cellular level of your body. It helps with housekeeping. And most of us don't get into this area where we're triggering autophagy because it really doesn't happen until about 24 hours in to a fast. And when you're intermittent fasting, you're really only doing 13, 14, 15 hours maybe. So you're not getting that benefit until you get higher up in the hours. And you don't need to fast for days. 36 hours is from dinner on Saturday night till breakfast on Monday morning. So it's not a long period of time. I don't encourage people to do long-term fasting. I mean, if you're interested in doing a long-term water fast or something like that, obviously get with your doctor because they need to monitor you and make sure you don't, not have enough vitamins and electrolytes in your body so things start going haywire. That's why I don't suggest stuff like that. But throwing in a 36-hour fast is something that should be completely safe for you to do. And it is a little bit of a challenge, but the good things that come out of it really help your body, especially when you're losing weight. Remember, as we're losing fat, any toxins that the liver stored in the fat over the years are going to come out. Well, those toxins are affected by autophagy. I mean, we're keeping the T flowing and we're keeping things coming out of the body and we're getting rid of a lot of those toxins. But some of them are stubborn little pieces that are in the cell. And when you trigger autophagy, that helps clear those out. And they can be moved on and moved out of the body, which is where we're trying to get all the fat to go, is out of the body. So, autophagy also, because you're increasing HGH, the human growth hormone, you're allowing the regeneration of new, healthier cells. So it's just good for your body. And it's not an extended period of time. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that. 36 hours. 36 hours. Just it's a day and a half. It's not a 5-day water fast. It's not any of those kind of things. It's not 367 days without anything but water. There is somebody who did that. But the whole thing is that it's really good for your body. So it's something that you should plan out, figure out when to throw in, and throw it in. It's just part of what you can do. But I wouldn't recommend doing it until you're beyond the week 12, until you're into that more plant-based situation where your habits are becoming habits, if you get what I'm saying. And then you can throw it a curveball. And that's another way that we can fight back against the body slowing down the basal metabolic rate, is we can fight back by throwing in a fast here and there, and it throws the body a curveball and goes, hey, what's going on here? And you get autophagy, you get all these dead pieces and particles or dysfunctional cells started to move out of the body. Now, some people, there's a study out there that the 5-2 fast is like the perfect way to eat. And I've done some research on it. I'm just not there yet. It's during the course of the week. 2 days are fasting, 5 days you just eat. So I would rather keep with the blueprint and keep track of what I'm doing with the food and throw in the fast occasionally, as opposed to trying to schedule 2 days a week for fasting, which may lead me to eat stuff that I don't want to eat on the days that I'm eating. You see what I'm saying? It could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Maybe once I'm a little bit deeper into this, and I'm throwing in a day, a 36-hour fast more often, the 5 and 2 will come in naturally. Or it may be something that I can just do oh, hey, I can do 2 days this week. It's all about flexibility, and that's what makes the blueprint so easy to follow. So it's easiest to do on a day that you're tired. I mean, but make up your mind in the morning so that you're like, you skip breakfast, take a nap, get up from your nap and just refuse to have anything to eat other than, I take my supplements and I drink my teas because they're still part of it. And I drink water. And I already mentioned, taking something to help you get to sleep may be a good thing so that you don't do what I did and lay in bed and think about food. Food. At least I was thinking about good foods. I wasn't thinking about terrible foods. I was thinking about what can I switch out with this? What can I, move around? What can I do with this? And what can I do with that? But it was making me hungry. So it's a good thing I've followed this rule for years that I don't get out of bed to get something to eat. So I know this one dragged on for a while. This is step 8. I told you these steps are going to take a little bit longer. Hey, if you got value from this, please, I'll put the QR code up here. Help me keep this free. Jump over, buy me a coffee, buy me 2, buy me 3, buy me 10, whatever you think you can afford to help keep this free. And I want to keep it free because I know there was a point in my life where I could have used information like this and there was no way I could have afforded to pay for it. And I have been on many webinars and many master classes where you get all the way through to the end of it and they basically told you all the stuff that they gave away for free, but then they tell you the secret is a $4,000 value available today for only $997. I'm not that type of person and I don't want to do that. So help me keep it free. Help me out by buying a coffee. Helps me cover the website costs. Helps me cover some of the other costs that are associated with it. And hey, maybe it'll help me get some new equipment because I had to buy a new phone. So hopefully the videos are looking a little bit better. I've got the little microphone thingy that my daughter gave me, but I would like to upgrade to, an actual video camera at some point in time. So these are a little bit better. Helps me cover the cost of editing the videos, all of those things. So if you can help me out, buy me a coffee, help me keep this free, I would certainly appreciate it. And the least you can do is subscribe to the channel and smash the old thumbs up button. If you didn't get to a point where you're like, hey, I'll go buy this guy a coffee, at least subscribe, at least give me the old thumbs up, because that'll spread this out and tell YouTube, hey, this old fart might have a thing or two that might be good for some people. So we need to spread this around a little bit. So I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. I know this one ran long, but come along for the journey because it's going to be one hell of a journey. Hasta luego.